Chapter 1. Bewitched. Miss Bishop, please take a seat and be mindful of the deadlines. I couldn't complete my sentence as I glanced up from the leather-bound Basics of Alchemy textbook and found her standing right in front of me. Big, icy blue eyes complemented her pale skin and charcoal black curls that gently grazed her face. I was at a loss of words. Grace Bishop, the new student, was 2 weeks late to join my class. While that was the sort of behavior I didn't usually tolerate, the principal had requested me to accommodate her, so I made an exception.
Sorry, Professor. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Her sweet voice drew me in further as she walked over to her seat. I tried to gain my composure, hoping that nobody noticed how lost I was a moment ago. As the class continued, I couldn't stop my mind from wandering. It was very unusual. Nothing like this had happened before. No one could distract me from my work. And yet, she did. Over the years, I gained quite a bit of reputation amongst the female students of Ivywood University. I couldn't escape the fact, no matter how hard I tried. To be honest, it was a little unsettling. This was my workplace, and I was very professional when it came to work. Being much older, I knew the boundaries I had to maintain, and my resolve was unshakable. That was why I was shocked when the same rule didn't apply to Grace. I couldn't place my finger on it, but there was something about her. After the constant back and forth, I decided that I should focus on my career right now. This new crush will eventually fade away. I couldn't be more wrong. As soon as the class finished and I prepared to leave, Grace came up to me. All the students had left already, so it was just the two of us. My heartbeat quickened, and I fumbled to find the words, and before I could say something, she did.
I wanted to apologize again for joining the course this late.
Grace adjusted the notebook in her hands.
I asked one of the other girls, and I think I missed a good chunk of the syllabus.
She continued after a slight pause. It's okay. We just went over some of the basics. I'm sure you'll get the hang of it. I hesitated in suggesting to help her because I knew it would wreck my decision to maintain distance.
Would it be possible that you could guide me a little? Maybe a few lessons to brief me on what has been covered?
She said the exact thing that I had been fearing. In that moment, I was conflicted about my feelings. I looked at my empty desk, knowing very well that her gaze rested on me. I might be free for an hour after my classes on Thursday and Friday, so I guess I can teach you a few things. I looked up briefly to catch her smiling, and knew instantly the road we were about to tread. For the next 3 weeks, I spent a good part of my Thursday and Friday afternoons teaching Grace. The library was a completely different place after 2 p.m., buried in shadows and deafening silence. Grace would always go to the far end of the hall and take the table in the corner. I followed her to the darkness every time. The literature continues to indicate the symbolism. I tried my best to stay strictly professional. But how could I possibly resist her ocean blue eyes, her flirtatious laugh, and her gentle touch?
Can we take a break for a few minutes?
Her right hand grazed mine, stopping me from flipping the page. There. In that moment, between the rows of books and under the dim lights, our hands were not willing to part ways. She knew it, and so did I. Sure, I said shyly, as I closed the book and tried to find something else to look at. But her voice continued to bring me back to her. We spent the next 20 minutes talking about random stuff. By talking, I mean that she talked, and I just sat there and listened to her admiringly.
I heard from some of the girls that you aren't married. Is that true?
I was utterly dumbfounded at Grace's bold question. Yet I was not surprised because she was like that, never afraid to speak her mind. This was the moment of truth. Will I choose my profession, or will I let myself get drifted away by her charm? There was no doubt about that answer. Yes. If I had stopped at this response, it would have been fine. But I didn't.